In the last lecture, we created our route with a dynamic path segment. Now we want to get access to the data the user sent us, or which is encoded in the URL, I should say. So we know that we will load the user component, this one here, and we know that there will be some data in the URL for us. How can we get access to it? Well, it is in the TypeScript file where we can get access, and there we need to inject something we already injected before, the active route. So this is again on activated route, so make sure to use this type and import it from @AngularRouter. And by injecting this, we get access to the currently loaded route. Now I told you that this currently loaded route is a JavaScript object with a lot of metadata about this currently loaded route. One of these important pieces of information is the currently active user. Now you see that in this user component, I already defined a user object at the top, which is undefined for now. It should have the following structure, and it's not used right now. But we could load our user by simply, well, getting access or retrieving this parameter from our URL. So it would be nice if, let's say, in ng-on-init, when our component gets initialized, we get our user. So we maybe want to say this user equals, and now we assign it to a JavaScript object because that is the type of it, a JavaScript object with an ID and with a name. Now the value for the ID can be fetched from our route, and there we have a snapshot property, and on this snapshot of our currently active route, we have a params JavaScript object, and here we can get our ID. And now you will only have access to properties here, well, which you defined in your route parameters. So this part here, we named it ID here, so we can retrieve the ID from this params object here. Now the name is something which is not encoded in the route right now. So maybe we should do this too. Let's go to app module, and let's simply add another dynamic part here, :name. Now we also will get this as a parameter, so we can retrieve it the same way we retrieve the ID. Let's retrieve the name. And it's in the same params object because this is all part of the route which was loaded due to this path we set up in app module being triggered, which holds two dynamic pieces. And you can add as many parameters here as you want. They will all be retrievable on this params object of the loaded route. With that, we assign something to our user. Now we could go to our HTML document and output that data. So with string interpolation, here we could output user ID. It will now be set, we know that. And username maybe. Both will be available because we set it in ng-on-init. Now this should work, so if we save this and we target /users1 max maybe, so that we have both the ID and the name, and we hit enter, we correctly see ID 1, name max. If we change the ID to 3, we see ID 3 here. So this seems to work, and you even see that this is still marked as active because this currently active path still contains /users, which was the route for this link. So this router link active directive is still doing its job. Now this seems to be working fine. Now let me add something to it which will break it though. I'll do this in the next lecture.